video. Might be a few subjects in here. Might eventually get to into Kantavadna's taboo video. Ooh. She's such a whatever. Anyway, so there's this guy, Steen Peterson. It's not a very good name. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so, he's been making comments for the last month or so, he just found inmendham videos and blah, 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 very impressed, blah, 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 blah. And then he starts doing this consciousness thing, and he just seems to be obsessing about this issue of consciousness, so I thought I would deal with this hard problem crap that really isn't a hard problem. So I have to go find the comments. Here they are. Alright, so, we'll do that first. I do not understand what consciousness is or how the hell it came to be. I don't see any advantage in having it in order to survive or to breed. And I don't think it is explained in this video at all. Well, nothing about life isn't terribly, it's not the kind of thing where you say, oh yes, I perfectly understand assassin bugs or something. You understand them as, oh, that's the way nature plays the game. It doesn't really care about decency or reasonable. It just cares about, like I said, the game being played. And so this is the way, this is the tool that got invented, was consciousness. That's the simplest answer. It doesn't matter whether it's a pile of junk. It's the acquisition of it in the way we acquired it. Was obviously advantageous to our ancestors. It had utility, and that's all you really need to understand. But I'll go further. I will explain. How do you know that you are conscious and not just a simulation? Well, because you could just invent anything, right? How do you know you're not cardboard in some wacky cardboard universe? I mean, it's just, who cares? I mean, you can just make up crap. Yeah, okay. How do you know the made up crap isn't true? Well, one of the giveaways is if you made it up, and then you could figure, oh, I just made that up, so that's obviously bullshit. So, I mean, obviously just saying, it's a simulation in the computer that always existed. Oh, no, it's in the simulation in the computer invented by the other life form that had intelligence, and they made a computer, and then they simulated these kind of weird things that we're doing. The penises and assholes and such. So even though we all sit here and say, hey, God had to be pretty stupid to invent this as, the ultimate machine, be even dumber if aliens did it, right? I mean, gods are drunk, right, or something. But aliens, you'd expect better. So wait, I'm just saying, I know it's not a simulation, because who would simulate mediocrity? That would be too fucking retarded. Anyway, I can never really know, right? Well, yeah, you can. You can know Bugs Bunny isn't a real person. It's not a real rabbit. Therefore, what is your advantage of being conscious as an organism? Someone help me out here, please. Yeah, whatever. Alright, consciousness is not a survival tool. I don't know where you could possibly think it's not. The idea of so what consciousness is. Alright, I've been through this, but I'll go through it again. For the brain to do meaningful functions, logical functions, it needed to establish a prime directive. It needs to establish some sort of values, right? So the mechanism needs to somehow value something. And so that's the dilemma. You have to bridge that gap somehow. So somehow you have to synthesize an idea of value. Now you can make automatic programs that have value built into them, but then the organism isn't going to be able to be unique. He's not going to be able to learn from experience. You have to do the carrot whip thing. You have to really kind of create some kind of mechanism that rewards certain behaviors, the valuable ones, and punishes the not valuable ones, the ones not conducive to your survival, for example. So it needs a mechanism. And so the mechanism is basically the sensation mechanism. We have sensations that are qualitative. They have the creeps, for example. You have a sensation of the creeps. Or even deja vu. That's kind of like a nausea, kind of weird feeling. But anyway, you have these feelings. And these feelings are essentially rewards and punishments for your actions in the world. And what they're really doing, though, is basically your brain isn't living in the real world. Your your consciousness is living in the world synthesized inside your head. Your perceptions are modified. Perception is modified through your senses. I mean, yes, the visual thing is just very accurate. I mean, if I reach out and touch something, it's, oh yeah, there's physical things there. So it's pretty straightforward. But what our brain does to it is not straightforward, obviously. The emotional reactions, the, ooh, don't put that in your anus, that kind of, we have a whole bunch of reactions based on our experience. And like I said, many of these reactions have a qualitative element to them, a feeling, color red versus color blue. They have an emotional taint. And that's really what the world you're being forced to live in, is the world of your experience inside your brain. So instead of just seeing things as things, you see things as ugly or scary or big and small. You see them as something, and then that with emotion. And that's the world your brain is thinking its way out of. It's thinking in the world that has feelings, because feelings are what create value. So that's how the mechanism, the DNA molecule, fell on a way of synthesizing value. It wanted to just make synthetic value, right? That's all it really needed. And instead it made real value, which is conscious sensation. But theoretically, I guess I might argue, it's pretty hard to imagine how you could have a reward and punishment system without synthesizing something that would have to be experienced as value. I mean, that's the nature of learning. Learning needs good and bad. Learning needs some way to reward good logic and punish bad logic, that kind of thing. There has to be a whip. And so that's why we're conscious. Yeah, I think that explains it. So it is a survival tool, for sure. It's just experience, really, a split second after your brain made a decision or produced a thought or a sensation. It's just experiences reality a split second after your brain made the decision or produced a thought or a sensation. Well, anyway, you see, the sensation is what it's a constant feedback loop. So the sensations grow or minimize. We see something scary, it's dark. You see something move. Then your brain, by process of elimination and deduction, figures out, oh, it's just the cat. And then it says, oh, no problem. You see how that works? So that's the mechanism. It's constantly feeding back our own influences into the world and seeing how they work and testing us and saying, did we do the right thing to solve the problem? I think that explains enough of it. Yeah, no point in getting too blah blah blah, getting too deep into it. Ugh, my mouse broke. Come on, jeez. Just having one of those months. Yeah, it's just been, I just really am not. I'm not exactly where I should be. I'm not as functional as I need to be. I keep saying I'm not depressed, but I just don't have any other real reason. I don't have much else to blame it on. Alright, I'm not quite sure I understand when you say your consciousness will be back. What exactly do you mean here, Gary? I just mean that we're not that unique. We can itemize ourselves, and we can say, oh God, I have blonde hair, and I have blue eyes, and I'm 6'1", and I'm blah, blah, blah. And I can, and I have a mole here, and I have a beautiful penis, and I have this and that and the other thing. And so somebody else could have all the same things as me and an ugly penis. And, or somebody else can have some other 3 assholes or whatever it is. But those are all superfluous differences, right? So all I'm trying to say is that the basic function of a human personality isn't that, doesn't really create enough diversity for me to concede that I'm 1 in a million or 1 in a billion, right? So 7 billion people. I don't think I'm 1 in a billion. You know, I don't even think I'm 1 in a million. 1 in a few hundred, maybe, some kind of number like that. So what I'm basically saying is a certain type of human being, and that type will be reborn. Okay, there will be people that will have fundamentally similar experiences to me, have a fundamentally similar, oh God, I'm on Earth. They'll say things like that. They'll say, oh God, I'm on, you know, wake up in the morning and go, oh fuck, another day on Earth. You know, and scratch their head maybe. Maybe they'll scratch their butt. You know, maybe they'll change the routine a little, but it's basically the same thing, right? So that's all I mean by a kind of reincarnation, is that we're doomed to be back, in the sense that as long as you keep making human beings, you're going to make this variety of human being. And so I will be back, essentially. Yes, okay, maybe I won't have the same hair, maybe I won't have the same eyes, maybe blah blah blah, I'll have an extra pinky, who knows, but it's basically going to be me, and there's no point in pretending it's some special thing. No, it's robot 49684872, you know, -4 instead of -3, you know, I mean, just doesn't really matter. Not enough of a difference for me to concede there is a real difference. So basically, you don't really die. You're just thrown back. You wake up again. Yeah, you wake up in Indonesia next time, but point is, you wake up again in some shit place, and you just, you know, grow into the routine and basically say, I don't really get this game. You know, what's the rules again? How do you play it? What are we doing this for exactly? That kind of thing. Is that, you know, is that hard to understand? I don't think you need to get all mystical about it, and I don't think you need to get too the other way, you know, too dismissive. It's really important that that we end up reliving the torture, you know, that we don't escape, that, you know, killing yourself doesn't really gain you relief, because something substantially the same as yourself is going to be tortured tomorrow after you're dead. It's still going to happen. That kind of thing. So I think that's pretty understandable. Alright, so yeah, I think I've zipped through that pretty fairly well, so we'll move on to some other fun. Oh yeah, the numbly numb guy, who, even though in this comment he said he's not going to post anymore, he did post again. Bastard. So anyway, I just thought this, I'll just point out, because I think this is a ludicrous, I just think he's just being terribly unfair and silly, but whatever. I have pointed out some specific recent instances where you incontrovertibly lied. So let's understand what a lie is. A lie is where I deliberately say something deliberately wrong, that I know is wrong, that I know is inaccurate, right? So now I've accused him of defending Nietzsche, and I've accused him of being a frickin' foreskin defender, because basically he made comments on videos where I think that's a completely fair interpretation. I mean, somebody made a critique of Nietzsche and called him a romantic and said a couple of things about him being, you know, glorifying this and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, for no good reason, Numbly Numb felt he had to jump in and point out, no, that's not Nietzsche at all. When it was exactly what Nietzsche was. He definitely qualifies as a guy who didn't live in anything called practical reality. And so, what else are you supposed to conclude? I honestly believe you have some little, maybe you have small boners, but you have a small boner for Nietzsche of some kind that you needed to come to his rescue because he was somehow being misunderstood as the poetic fantasy writer that he fucking was. The guy couldn't commit to anything. He wouldn't commit to living in the real nature or something. There's no way this pussy, right, who was crushed over a woman, right? I mean, in real nature, you got to watch your women die like it's like they're nothing, right? You watch them getting eaten by bears all the time and shit, or massacred by the, you know, the other tribe or something. And he romanticized all that shit. You think he could take it? You think he had the balls to live in that world? No fucking way. You think Nietzsche had his own little kid, he wouldn't be a whiny little bitch, you know, if something happened to it? Oh, come on. he was total bullshit all the way through and all the way down. Well, anyway, so I honestly believe, yes, you have some deep inner thingy for Nietzsche. And then the other subject is a stupid motherfucking circumcision subject. So on a circumcision video, he starts pointing out how yeast isn't a bacteria. And then he's pointing out how millions and millions and millions of bacteria are living in women's vaginas. Even though I had already pointed out, but that, yeah, well, women's vaginas, unlike the folds of skin on the end of your dick, have a whole cleansing system, okay, built over millions and billions of years to keep their uterus and all that shit pretty junk-free. So, obviously, it's a different machinery. And he also was making the point that, men give, women urinary tract infections and stuff because women, the sexes, women are the receivers of the fastballs, so to speak. And so they get the sore hand. So it's sort of important for men to be clean, as they're going to be aggressively pushing their shit into the woman's shit. Not literally. But anyway, clearly, and so he's making all these comments, doing this truthing on the video that doesn't really need truthing. I mean, nobody needs to know that yeast isn't technically a bacteria, it's a fungus. Nobody needs to know that shit in that video. Just that clarification didn't need to take place, and it seemed like the only reason why it was taking place is to somehow defend that, well, it's really not bacterial infections on the ends of men's dicks, when fungus infection doesn't sound all that much better, and you didn't even say the word fungus. Maybe if you would have said fungi, yeah, men's penises are infected with fungi, then I could have taken you seriously, but that's not what you did. But anyway, so he calls me a liar because he doesn't think, I honestly believe, that I fairly interpreted his behavior as being a defense on those two subjects. So that's what all this shit's about, is that he doesn't like me believing that's drawing that conclusion. He doesn't think it's a legitimate conclusion to draw based on his conduct. And I would argue that I think it was perfectly legitimate. And I don't think you've said or done anything for me to think it wasn't. Even your testimony that it wasn't seems thin. I mean, really, I don't think you can defend the Nietzsche thing. You can't answer certain questions because if you let yourself even understand them, the whole precariously balanced mental house of cards will collapse. Right, this is a guy who said, oh yeah, 6 months ago I would have jumped in front of a bullet for you. Sure you would. You're a duplicitous asshole who habitually tells self-serving and easily proven lies. So again, you're the one doing all this false testimony shitting. A pretty aggressive statement. And so, what do you want me to say? I think I can prove you wrong. You want to spend the money for the lie detector test, I'll prove that you're wrong. Because I'm not lying in arguing that I think, on those two subjects, circumcision and Nietzsche, that you do have some sort of vacillating discomfort, or whatever the right word would be. You're blah 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 blah. Self-serving, easier lies, and then pretends like nothing happened. Well, again, I'm not pretending nothing happened. I took pretty seriously your accusations and your obnoxious behavior since, and said, fuck you. Yeah, right. Your words are right where you left them, or whatever that means. You can't make it go away. I don't know what you're saying I'm trying to make go away, so fuck you some more, false accuser. So anyway, here's the video where you falsely accuse me of endorsing Nietzsche. Well, you say it's false. I'm saying I think it's a reasonable conclusion. It's based on a comment I made in this video. Well, I'm not going to go through two different videos on that one comment. I remember the comment. Somebody posted a comment on the video about Nietzsche. It wasn't terribly related to the video, but it was close enough. And then you went on one of your little, I'm going to fact you, and I don't think you facted him at all. I think you propagandized in defense of Nietzsche, who was basically a completely unrealistic, silly person. There you have it. Absolute proof that you are a consummate lying dipshit. I don't see. So this is some sort of truthing by you. This is an example of your truthing quality. A consummate lie. It's the consummate definition of a lie. My interpretation of your response to a simple comment about Nietzsche. Yeah, I don't think so, jackass. Yeah. Treachery to win arguments. I mean, what are you? You are really... This is rational description of the circumstance. Treachery. Deception and treachery. That's what you call doing the truth thing. Facting. Yeah. Oh, I call it fucking, not facting. Defame others, and of course there are more where that came from. You can try to confuse the issue as much as you want. Yeah, I don't know how I'm confusing it. But the fact remains you can't contrive your way out of this one. Well, connive. So all these words, deception, treachery, connive. I don't delete videos. I don't do any... I mean, you can make this accusation, but it's just absolute nonsense. Sorry, this is nonsense. You're as silly as Nietzsche. I said in my response video. You can make a response video. I said it in my response to this video. Okay. Well, I'm not going through more of your... no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it over again. And I'll say it again. You can't show me any evidence that I said the things you claim that I did about endorsing Nietzsche and circumcision. I can claim that clearly somebody could interpret your style of commentary as being defensive. It's a clearly reasonable interpretation. I'd say that's a pretty good deal for you. Fuck you. Especially considering you probably wouldn't even have the courage to stake anything meaningful on your own burden of proof. I don't even know what that means, but fuck you some more. I mean, considering that you made a 30-minute video about my reaction to your lies about me. No, I made a 30-minute, yes, video about your reaction, because your reaction was all over my videos. For the last month, you've just been being a fucking pain in the ass, making outrageous claims about my character, you fuck. So why shouldn't I take 30 minutes to point out that this character assassination by this petty little shit is provoked by nothing of merit? Spending an extra few minutes to correct me, shut me up, and rid yourself of me permanently would simply be too efficient an opportunity to pass up. I don't even know it. If you believe you're correct, spending a few extra minutes to correct me, shut me up, and rid yourself of me permanently would simply be too efficient an opportunity to pass. I don't even know what that means, but I guess I unfortunately misinterpreted that before when I read it to mean that you were going to go the fuck away, but apparently not. Damn. I thought it was in there somewhere. Well, maybe he edited it. It was edited. So maybe he took that part out. Ooh, another accusation I'm making about him. Yeah, so why don't you just go away, fuckhead. Really, go play with somebody else. Go fact check on their videos and just leave me the fuck out of your, whatever, your little rat gnawing routine. Anyway, okay. Now, on to Anticontivad. Yeah, this ought to be funny. So I'll just do, I'm not going to play this video much. We'll just see what funny thing he comes up with.
There's a French verb with no English equivalent. I'm sure there's another language. But
is that it? French verb.
And one can explain the concept, but as a word itself, it doesn't exist in English. The verb is falloir.
Ah, that means what? Fucking the head of a fetus. Yeah, falloir.
And we may know the word from the French expression comme il faut.
Oh, right. You come in floods after you fuck the fetus head. Yeah. It's a girl thing, I guess.
It's roughly translated as, this is the way things are done. It's not, this is the way things must be done. It's just, this is how This is the way.
Yes, that's right. Airplanes fly in the sky, not in the ground. It's the way it is done. Roofs are on top of the house, not in the basement. This is the way it is done. Okay, we got that. Anyway, this whole bullshit about, he thinks he's all, oh, taboo. Would you eat a person if it was the only food in town and you had to go like on a long walk and, I mean, all this pussy shit. You know, the real game is about these taboos and shit. You got a little runty kid. The kid doesn't have the conscious capacity of the fucking cat sleeping on my goddamn chair. Now, what grand crime would I commit if I herded up a bunch of those little runny snot noses, and wallpapered my walls with their skin? What crime compared to, pig slaughter, routine pig slaughter? Compared to routine pig torture and slaughter, how exactly have I committed a crime? It's all just a taboo, isn't it, buddy? It's all just your pretenses of what you say is valuable, right? No real value there. Nothing you can demonstrate to be there that's of better merit. It's not a more conscious organism. Is it? No. It's not more sentient. It's not more alive. Yeah. You're all just such frauds. Boldly going nowhere. You wouldn't even know a bold, adventure in reality. The reality is you're really expensive and you're really not the price of the admission. No, not even close are you worth it. The cover charge, way too expensive. The floor show sucks. So anyway, I'm not watching 18 minutes of this French poopah. So, good night, Gracie. The way things are done. That's the way it's done. That's the way you close the tab. I've just did the way it was supposed to be done. Un pump for dunk. There, it's the way it should be done. So, I've closed the tab the way it should be done. So, enough of that. Maybe I should do it some other way so I can break the taboo against doing it some other way. Ooh, yeah, maybe I'll open this window again so I can close it again. No, I won't do that. That would be a floor show not worth any cover charge. Alright, I think this is enough. Yeah, Warbles had a really great video. Kangaroos fucking or something. Great. Matt made a bunch of really boring long videos about Wittgenstein and whatever, Hegel and Hegel and Smegel. Yuck. Yuck. Anyway, there's really nothing going on again, as usual. So, I have to make my own fun. Tommy from the Bronx did a review of the Star Wars movie. He liked it, but he hated it, but he loved it, but he didn't like it, but he loved it, but he hated it. Mostly loved it, though. Yeah, anyway. The whole thing just sounds so fucking lame. As soon as I heard Death Star again, no, you can't do that. You can't tell me you can't come up with another weapon than a fucking stupid Death Star. And and then a Death Star that you're going to possibly be able to blow up. I mean, come on, you're telling me that the Emperor, the Empire, with all those fucking goddamn, they got all that shit going for them, right? All these great spaceships, and they got all kinds of technology, and they got robots, and they got all this shit. And you're telling me that, okay, first they lose a huge, expensive Death Star, right, to stupid fucking liabilities. Then they lose a second one, right, to just some bogus attack, and they fly right into the Death Star and blow up the nuclear plant. I mean, that was just silly. Like, you couldn't put a screen in there somewhere? I mean, just, like to kick dust or something? No protection whatsoever. Just fly right in and blow up the, center of the Death Star. Come on. And so what? They made another one and it's still vulnerable? They still haven't made it invulnerable to just simple bogus attack by some asshole with a light sword? I mean, fuck this. So right there, the movie deserves somebody to throw a rock somewhere. I mean, that's just too fucking stupid. Same fucking story. You just, I mean, nothing imaginative. Like you know, and really with all that dark force power, like maybe if they mind controlled and the people of an entire planet, like Darth Vader, their brains, and had them totally enslaved, and were building, you know, some sort of, you know, mega ray gun of some kind. Maybe that's okay, but not a Death Star. You know, like a mind control ray gun. Yeah, something like that. Like a gun that magnifies Darth Vader's brain force or something. Like a magnifier of dark force energy or something. Bubble chambery, like a bubble that he, you know, something. Something better than Death Star. I mean, fuck. I mean, what good is it to blow up a planet anyway? What's the profit in it? I mean, how does the Empire make money blowing planets up? Exactly. I mean, I would think the Empire wants to sell them like Cheetos and stuff. Like, we got them really cheap and they're really good. Got some Soylent Green over there. We got some really cool stuff. We got uniforms. So I'm sure the Empire wants to sell them shit. They wouldn't want to blow them up. And if it's going to blow them up, it would go there first and take all their money and shit, wouldn't they? Aren't they in it for something? There must be something of value in the future, right? So, there must be some kind of economy made out of something, right? People are doing all this work for some reason, right? So there's got to be something. At least all the pretty women or something. I don't know. There's got to be something. Why the fuck would you blow it up without fucking stealing all the good shit first? Oh, whatever. It doesn't make any sense. I just would have look, you know, they got the, you know, Return of the Jedi, good movie. The other three new ones were just silly. I mean, they were silly. And then this one just sounds double silly. I mean, at least the three new ones didn't have Death Stars in them. Fuck. Anyway. I wonder if the, you know, if the spaceships still make noise. yeah, it's really noisy in space. Anyway, fuck Star Wars. I mean, if you gave me all that money they spent on that movie, I bet I could make a really good movie. Yeah. Inmendham Wars. Yeah. He's coming for you. He wants to make some wallpaper. Anyway. I want to live on a more creative planet with more interesting people and such. Alright, yeah, that's it. There's nothing else right now. I'm looking and just seeing if there's something else I can comment on, but there's really nothing else. So. Till next time, I have some work I gotta do for Old Fam, but I've been too lazy to do it. Maestro guy is missing, you know, I guess, you know, I don't know what happened, but, you know. Probably got in trouble or something with somebody somewhere, and, you know, had to tone it down a notch because, you know, the authorities are watching him or something or whatever. Who knows? This planet sucks. So anyway, yeah, that's enough. So, sorry about the hat. I forgot I still had it on. Yeah, it's Gilligan's Island or something. Anyway,